Howdy. All right, I've made progress on the Civic. I've reassembled the trans. I've installed the clutch, which took a minute. Had trouble finding a flywheel. I learned that I guess the flywheels are different depending on the K-series, and they don't all bolt up the same clutch. But I found an aftermarket one that was drilled for both holes, so flywheel's in, it's lightened, which is a small issue, I guess, with stock ECUs, but I'll address that later. But it's all good. Clutch is in, DC competition, or sorry, competition clutch, sorry, not DC, it looks like a D. And I've started the final assembly of the motor. It's technically in the trim to run, so I don't know. I'm assuming I'm gonna have to pull the motor out. I've got a few issues already forming. One, there was a bolt broken off from when we got the trans. That's got to get addressed. I'm going to not worry about it until the motor trans has to come back out. I'm sure that'll make starting fun, or maybe not possible at all. But I need to get to the point where this thing's cranking, or I'm gonna lose steam again. Other than that, I have the plate ready to go, working on getting the alternator hooked up. Run into a small issue with the alternator. This is the fitting that the alternator came with. I believe it's for a D series. It's nice and snug on the snout. And this is the one that K-Tune sent. And I guess it's to adapt. I thought it was to adapt the D series alternator. Maybe I got the wrong alternator, I don't know. Or maybe because it's not factory, it's aftermarket. I thought about it. I'm gonna try to print a bushing to go between this and this. And I know that sounds crazy, but what I've realized is that this is held on by the downward pressure locked on to the snout. So the whole thing spins. So as long as this is locked down, it's fine. So the only thing you really need to be careful of is center. So as long as if I make a bushing, it doesn't need to be structurally strong, it just needs to center it, and then when I lock the nut on, it'll lock it center. I've installed it into the car, and I've checked it, and the belt looks to be straight, and it does tighten everything, so it seems like I'm still on a good pathway. I also have the connector for this that I can tie into. So I'm gonna keep moving ahead. I'm gonna take this home and work on the bushing for it. And then it's just gonna be banging out smaller and smaller details until it's ready to crank. I've got a massive hurdle to figure out on the dash wiring and everything, but I'm hoping that won't be too much of a problem to get the vehicle to at least fire, and then it'll have the juice to keep going because it'll be engine running. But making continued progress, so it's not dead yet. Alrighty, this is what I came up with. Just a little washer, fits snugly on the face of the shaft, and then I have the new wider pulley, and so then this one just kind of fits over. The fitment is good, and I believe it's going to run true, but the bushing is I don't know, it's not great. I mean, I don't have any play, and it seems to be center. The trick here is I'm going to install the nut back on, crank it down onto the face where it mates, and then just run it up with a drill. And if the pulley holds true, I'll use it. So, I mean, I've got a minimal amount. I'm comfortable using it. The alternator is shaking, but I don't see, the movement looks pretty good. I'm gonna give it a shot to see what it does.